I don't like to judge what other people find to be like their form of self-care because
I like to.
yeah, I mean, fair enough.
No, I have to buy this new bag. I mean, really? Yeah.
Mm,
Okay, so
I'm the kind of person now, I think before I buy. A lot of people don't think before they buy.
yeah.
I ended up hoarding a whole bunch of stuff that I, coming out of COVID, didn't actually end up using.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Money Goal. My name is Emir and I have Yasmin here with me.
Hi.
Hello, Yasmin.
Hello.
All right, what are we talking about today?
So we're talking about, I guess we can call them like self-care.
Okay,
Yeah.
very important.
Yes, I think so. So I guess today we're going to be talking about, can you really afford beauty, fitness, and self-care in Malaysia in this day and age? So, okay, I'm just going to be straight up and just say I'm very, 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 very big on self-care. I'm very big on self-care. My definition of self-care, because obviously we all have different definitions as well. I'm really big on books. Some people might not consider that self-care, but I read like, we're talking like 50 to 60 books a year.
That's a lot. That's more than since I was 17, I think.
Yeah, I eat books. I eat books. Self-care. So my self-care is I read a lot of books. I also play a lot of games.
Games? What kind of games?
I do. Well, I play Nintendo Switch, and I also play the PS5. I don't eat those games as much as like I eat books. And also, I do like a good hair wash, and like a head spa kind of thing. And yeah, so like beauty wise, like I do take care of myself.
That's what I think of. Right?
Yeah.
When it comes to self-care.
Right.
Massages.
Yes, yeah. Okay, I'm not big on massages, but I do go and see like a dermatologist, that kind of thing. I do not indulge in shopping, so that's something that I personally don't consider like self-care. Yeah, exactly. Like I have areas in which, you know, I a little bit, and then I have areas in which that, you know, I don't. And I completely understand that the fact that I'm even able to indulge in any self-care at all is a form of privilege.
Yep.
I understand that there's also like levels to that self-care. There are some people who do it more frequently than others. And also there are varying qualities of that self-care.
There are levels to it. That's what
there are levels to it.
Okay, what I thought, what was previously a premium gym to me, I then realized there are even more premium gyms. So
yeah,
there are levels to it.
Yeah, there are crazy, you know, I mean, I'm not a fitness girly, so I'm not going for like spin classes.
A lot of people spend a lot of money there, actually.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there are platforms. I'm not sure we're allowed to like say, but I think I know. We know. There are platforms that like enable this, but like I'm not like a fitness junkie, so I don't go for, you know, Pilates classes and like hot yoga or like whatever. That's not where I spend in terms of self-care. I'm more beauty. So hair, getting my hair done, getting my nails done, going for facials, that kind of thing. So that's where most of my money goes to.
Okay. I mean, if that's your priority.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is more of like, how much is too much?
Yes, I suppose so. And also like in Malaysia, whether or not we can actually afford to, right? So I guess I don't know about you, but do you think like the stuff that you're doing for your self-care is actually like adding to your happiness, or is it like a thing that you're doing like out of it's just like a routine? It's like, okay, once every 2 weeks I go for a haircut.
Right.
I know that's like a boy thing because y'all
to cut our hair, right? Okay. I would say that Okay, I'm gonna talk about self-care more from not books. I wouldn't consider it self-care. I would consider that education or something.
But it's fictional books. I'm not reading
okay.
non-fiction. Yeah.
Okay, but self-care that I would do, I love massages, but
Okay.
I don't go that often. Maybe once every 2 months.
Okay, right.
Nah, that's okay.
No, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. I would do like, okay, gym. I'll consider it self-care. So paying for the gym, haircuts, and I will consider like clothes. So I think appearance-wise, anything appearance-wise to me is self-care. Maybe because I'm a guy, like
Sure.
I used to be that I can wear whatever.
Mhm.
So I think spending on these things can improve not just quality of life, but it gives me a certain level of confidence as well.
Yeah, of
So I
course.
think, okay, during the COVID era, right, 2020 lockdowns, I think
It's
I
a
really
smelly era.
let myself go.
Smelly.
Yeah.
Smelly.
I really let myself go. I didn't cut my hair. Obviously, we didn't need to. We couldn't for a while, and then after that, because we work from home, I thought I didn't need to. Clothes, I didn't buy any clothes at all. Because I'm like, when am I even gonna go out?
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I think everything was just a mess. I actually started buying clothes again, I think only last year. And I realized it actually gives me a lot of more confidence,
Oh,
like
so
going
you're a
out.
shopper.
No, not so much.
Okay.
Not so much.
Alright.
But yeah, I would consider these things self-care.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are the areas I spend on. But haircuts. Okay, so things like haircuts and stuff, I would spend, I think I've talked about this in previous episodes. I would spend on convenience.
Mhm.
So I do cut at malls just because it's easier. So I cut at my place because one, I want to have the same guy there every time.
Yeah.
And I realized that if I go to a cheaper barber, the turnover is really quick. So then I know this guy for a few months and then it's like, oh, I'm leaving and stuff. So I want one guy and I want him to be there perpetually, basically. I won't let him retire.
Yeah.
And two is convenience. So therefore I got it in the mall. And my haircut place is in the same place as my gym. So at least then I can get a haircut and then I can go to the gym. That's exactly what I'm going to do right after this, actually.
Right.
But yeah, so I would spend a bit more. But again, it's because I'm lucky that I earn an okay amount of money and I can afford it. And I mean, depending on how I budget my money, I do set aside this. I would rather spend a bit more here than buying something.
Well, it's a priorities thing, right?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, I'm the exact same as you. Like, I don't spend beyond my means. So I have already, every time like my salary comes in, right? My gaji comes in, like I'm already like mentally factoring in, I guess, like, okay, how much am I gonna spend on like self-care? How much is going to my facial this month? How much is gonna go to
It's a monthly thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, I go for facials every month. I buy books once every 2 to 3 days.
Really?
Yes, I do. So I also have like a monthly budget for the books that I'm reading because I know that I read a lot. So I'm always doing like the maths in my head constantly. Okay, maybe I want to go to like a different place than my usual place for like a massage. It's literally just an example because like I go for massages like once every like year or two or like something like that. And then like I'll kind of like look at the difference. And then figure out like, okay, like do I want to spend a little bit more or like am I okay to spend like what I usually spend, which is already factored into like my monthly thingy. But like, do you find that like you get pressured by social media at all to do that?
This is what I was gonna say. I don't feel like I'm pressured at all.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just what I think.
Yeah.
But okay, even if I spend a bit more on certain self-care items, like for example, my haircut, right? I feel that I will only do it if it gives me added utility, which for example, convenience. That to me is utility, right? Does it make sense to pay extra, let's say 50 ringgit for the convenience? I mean, that's up to you, but at least it gives me something. What I wouldn't do is doing things purely for status. So I think some people do that, including the gym. So I realized that a gym can be a flex as well. So again, there's levels to this, right? You thought like, oh, this gym is the most expensive one, but there are more. And for example, my sister, she signed up for some package thing at a really expensive gym recently. I think it's like it goes to like 350, 400 a month. It's
Right.
crazy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I literally told her, like, there's no added utility for going to the gym other than it's fancy. And I don't know, you can take Instagram photos and be like, look what gym I'm at. Because she has to go out of her way. There are more convenient gyms for her. And to an extent, all gyms are the same, right? They all have,
Yeah.
you know, you get to a certain level, and then beyond that,
Yeah.
there's not much more. Yeah,
Right.
so those things I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
I would do things if it gives me added value.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. I mean, like there are people who, again, I'm not a shopper. You're not a shopper either. I'm not even a window shopper. So I hardly, unless I'm like walking around with friends, like I'm not going into shops and browsing, whether it's online or offline, like literally going to a store. But like, again, like of course you have people who want to buy the latest collection of like their favorite brand every single time it comes out, every time it drops, right? But
I don't get why people queue for things, honestly.
yeah, I don't get it either. But like, yeah, it's because we're not shoppers like that, right? Whereas, you know, some people find that like a form of that's why it's called retail therapy, right? It's not just buying clothes, you know. There are people who buy makeup, who like collect perfume, you know, that kind of thing, and like that genuinely adds to their happiness. So I think like with me personally, like I don't like to judge what other people find to be like their form of self-care, because
I like to.
yeah, I mean, fair enough.
No, I'm kidding.
Fair enough. I mean, like because I understand, like I also have like my own, you know, forms of self-care, right? Like some people can't fathom the fact that like
Exactly, I was gonna say that.
I read 50 to 60 books. But I tried, with that being said, like I'm sure there are like smarter, when I say smarter, I mean like better ways to like upkeep that self-care. I count books as self-care because it's such a huge part of my life, my daily life, and it genuinely adds to my happiness. And because I know the amount that I'm reading every single month, I honestly, like for example, like I ditched physical books altogether because books are so expensive if you're going to a store to buy it, right? Anywhere from like, you're starting at like what, 60 bucks, 70 bucks, and that's not even hardcover, right? I'm not buying hardcover books, but yeah, that's even more. So I instead, because I know my spending habits on books, I switched to e-readers instead, which is a lot cheaper, a lot more accessible, convenient.
I feel like if I read, I would get one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, it looks cool.
No, I think it's such a great way to, like I said, eat books. Like maybe that's why I go through books so quickly. It's because it's just so easy. So that's like a way that I found for myself to I guess, again, I want to have, like, I want this to be a part of like my self-care. It is a part of my self-care, and it has been for so many years, and it's not something I'm willing to give up. So I better think about like a smart way to do it, and that's the smart way that I found.
Yep. I think self-care is completely fine. I think everyone needs it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
How much you can afford, I think it really depends on each individual, right? Depending on how much your self-care is and how much you're earning, how much disposable income you have after your necessities are met, right? I think we've talked about this many times. If you have a really high salary, then honestly, I mean, up to you. As long as you're doing your savings, you're doing your investments, all your bills are in check, then I mean, whatever, it's up to you. But I have noticed people overdoing self-care a bit, and people who, let's say they're earning less average salaries, and they spend a bit too much in the name of self-care, in the name of not to downplay it, but mental health, right? A lot of people say, oh, for my mental health, I have to buy this new bag. I mean, really? Okay, so
no, you don't.
Like you, I only silently judge what other people do for self-care. I don't mind. I know that everyone has different opinions about what they want to do, but you just can't overdo it. I think that's something that people they just use it as an excuse, like, oh, I work so hard, oh, this week is so stressful, oh, this, oh, that, I have to buy something, you have to buy this, I have to go for a massage, I have to do my hair, and then they overdo it. I think that's the main thing you don't want to,
Yeah,
that's what you don't want to get into,
of
basically.
course. Yeah. So like, I guess in your opinion, like, how can you support like your mental health? Because you literally just mentioned mental health,
Yeah.
right? And I think self-care is such a huge part um in our mental health, literally. I mean, mental health and also physical health, right?
Yep.
Because you're talking about gyms and
Yep.
all of that. So like, how can you support your mental health without straining your wallet?
Okay, so I think one thing is you budget for it as per normal. If you think it's important to you, set aside however much you think you want to spend on it. And number two, I think the really good thing about the phrase "there's levels to it" is that there's actually levels that are quite low,
Yeah.
that are just as good.
Yep.
Okay, so
That's true.
just a story. Back when I was in my last corporate job, we actually had a mental health therapy budget for everyone. So it was like an employee
That's so
benefit.
sick.
Yeah, it is.
That's so good.
So before I left, I thought, why not just spend it? So I've never been to therapy, but I thought since I got 1,500 ringgit, I'll
Why
just
not?
like book like 10, a package of 10
That's
lessons.
amazing.
Yeah. So we did that. But while I was doing the research for it, so I chose a pretty expensive one because I mean it was free basically, right? It was an employee benefit. I found out that there are a lot of cheaper ones as well. There are like 50 ringgit ones, 20 ringgit ones. There are some by the government even, right?
Yes.
And then when we're talking about sports, I mean, you can go to a 400 ringgit gym, but if you can't afford it, jogging is free. You can go to, those playgrounds where you can do like body weight exercise.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
all completely free.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are a lot of things that you can do like with the same results, but at a much lower price or even free sometimes. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Budget according to what you can afford, and then just be a bit more resourceful. There are so many options out there. Yeah. Reading, you can even go to the library if you can't afford it, right? You could. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into the stories. Okay, so the first story. I used to buy every trending serum, convinced the next bottle would fix my skin and somehow my confidence. By the end of the year, I had a 1,200 ringgit credit card bill and a drawer full of half-used products. Oh my God, I can totally relate. I realized I wasn't investing in my skin. I was buying temporary confidence. Now I stick to a simple routine and treat self-care like savings, consistent and intentional. How do you know when your self-care routine is actually self-sabotage for your wallet? I can literally answer this.
Okay. I don't know what serum is, so I think you have to do this.
So, going back to COVID, I think a lot of people, I think some people were like, oh, we're at home, so like we don't really need to like not take care of yourselves, but like, I mean, people were just a lot more relaxed. I, on the other hand, and I think the other half of people, we, in order to feel some sense of normalcy in like our everydays, because like we're literally just stuck at home.
True.
To feel that sense of normalcy or to have any sense of normalcy at all, we actually like we some of us actually still woke up, like did our makeup, put something decent on, and a really big part of like my COVID time was actually spent browsing through makeup and skincare, because I was so like, I don't know, I was just chasing any kind of normalcy. And because of that, I was looking a lot at getting this like skincare and makeup. And I found that I ended up hoarding a whole bunch of stuff that I, coming out of COVID, didn't actually end up using. Because I think we spent so much of our time on our phone during COVID. Like I literally just got influenced to the max.
To buy these things.
Yeah, because I think during COVID, it was just like an all-time high in terms of like social media usage, right? So the content that I was consuming was makeup and skincare, and here are ways to have like a still okay day while you're at home 24/7. But coming out of it, like I realized, oh, this is so not okay. I mean,
how do you manage it?
How did I manage it? I actually decluttered a lot of it. I gave a lot of it away. And I really simplified on everything, because I realized, oh, okay, I didn't actually use this. I didn't actually use that. I didn't actually need this. I didn't actually need that. And for me, when it comes to purchases, because like we were talking, right? Like we were literally saying, shopping is a big part of a lot of people's self-care.
Yep.
I'm the kind of person now, I think before I buy. A lot of people don't think before they buy.
Yep.
But now if anything online, I will open the website and I will literally just keep the tab there for like a couple weeks.
Leave it in your cart.
Yeah, I just leave it in the cart
Yeah.
and see how I feel the next day or the day after that or the week after that. And if I still want it, then I'll get it.
Okay.
So I don't
That's smart advice in
Yeah.
general. Yeah, whatever she said.
Yeah, it's literally because I did this exact same thing and I regret it. I regret it so much because I now like my makeup and like skincare collection, which is exactly what it was, has dwindled down to like it's probably only like maybe 20% of like what it was during COVID, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Like even looking back on it now, I'm just like, what were you thinking?
I think skincare is so easy to fall into the trap of like watching.
Yeah,
something like
no, of course. Yeah, I was literally trying everything and anything and I didn't really need to. Anyway, sorry. Okay, next story. Sorry, I literally just took over that question. Okay, next story. Okay. This is one for you because I don't frequent these places.
Okay.
When I first signed up for a luxury gym, I told myself I'd go 3 times a week. 2 months later, I'd gone 3 times total. Every time the membership fee was deducted, I felt guilty, but canceling felt like giving up. Eventually, I switched to home workouts and saved hundreds. I realized consistency, not cost, defines progress.
Yep.
What's one expensive habit you can replace with a cheaper, sustainable alternative today?
Working out for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, yeah. But it's funny because for this person, right? So I like to pay for my gyms upfront. When I have a choice of like paying monthly or paying upfront, I always pay upfront just because I feel like once I've paid, I have to go. Okay, I know a lot of people pay upfront and then they don't end up going, so it's a big waste of money. But I feel like me paying motivates me. I feel like I can't accept it wasting money, so I have to go. But I guess if you're not that type of person, then I mean, don't commit to all these things. Don't sign up for contracts if you know if you feel like you can't commit because it's gonna be just a waste of money. Right?
Yeah.
Look for gyms with daily entries. There's a lot of those where you can just pay 5-10 ringgit to enter. So at least if you're lazy, there's not just your health at risk. It's your you save money at least, right? Yeah, but yeah, I think gym is definitely one area that you can cut down.
One expensive habit you can replace. Yeah, no, the gym is such a good one.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I actually
Exercising, right?
I have some friends who they're like gym junkies and like every time I'm like, why don't you just go run outside?
Yeah.
They get so defensive. But I'm like, but it's true.
It's
you know, the sites are so much better as well because like obviously if you're running on a treadmill, you're literally looking at like one thing and one thing only for like what, an hour or however long you're jogging for. And it's so monotone. Whereas like if you're literally jogging outside, well,
I think exercise has become a status thing. I really think so.
ooh. I mean, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But that's so true. It's not just exercise. Sports in general is a status thing. But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah. So this answer, that is
Yeah.
one thing that you can definitely get it cheaper for the same results. Pretty much.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's it for the stories. Do you have any last
Yeah, I think
pieces of advice?
Yes, just to wrap this whole thing up, self-care I think is completely fine. I'm not a believer of being so extremely stingy to the point where you don't reward yourself at all. I think you should have some self-care. Just do it within reason, right? Within your means. And I think that's fine. Whatever you want to do, I might judge your choices, but it's completely up to you. Cool. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Nice talking to you again, Yasmin.
Thanks.
And see you guys in the next one.